What I want to talk to you about is the concept of time, because it seems to me that it's speeding up. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. I don't know if it's because I'm really trying to stay in the present moment and be focused on how I feel and staying on that high-flying disc. But it's almost like I feel my life is in a blur. And so is that a product of just being in the flow and being downstream, or am I not paying attention?
Time is a perceptual thing. So from your perspective, it can speed up or slow down. You've all had experiences where an hour seemed like it was many more, or a day seemed like it was way too short. It's perceptual. One of the things that is a law-based reasoning. Esther said, time is going fast and I want it to be slower. And so then she thought about what it was like, as she can best remember, from the time she entered school until the time she graduated from high school. And it felt to her, while it was happening, and even as she remembers back, like it took forever. So she decided to focus upon her 9-year-old at the time grandson and watch how slowly he moves through time. Didn't work for her because she can't perceive for him, but she is understanding that time is perceptual. So she began asking us about it. How can I slow it down and savor it more? And we said, your answer was in your question, by savoring it more. The details of that which you give your attention to. When you realize, and we know that you do, that here you stand in your physical body, but there is so much source energy and those who have gone before focused with you in your moment. And what that means, if you are in the receptive mode, you have the ability to perceive so much more in any given moment than if you are not in the receptive mode. So that in a little bit of time, you can have several wonderful rendezvous and several wonderful dialogues. You can have so much experience. There can be so much dovetailing of so many of the things that are important to you that your life then becomes really, really, really dynamic, where so many things are happening all at the same time.
Yes.
Well, we know that what's happening to you, since that is happening, is that you are equating getting so much done. It usually takes a lot of time to get this much done. So that gives you the illusion or the feeling that time is passing quickly, when all that is really happening is that you are experiencing more in the time that is passing. So you're misunderstanding your impression about that. Does that make sense to you? So much more happening. Esther's been having the experience where she will sit to do some projects, and there will be texts coming in and emails coming in and phone calls coming in and different experiences happening, and it will feel to her like the morning must surely have passed. And when she will look at her iPhone, she realizes it's only been 45 minutes and it should have taken most of the morning for all of that to have happened that efficiently and that effectively. So that's what we mean when we say time is perceptual. Everyone is measuring it differently. Your clocks seem to be measuring it the same. And as you are relating to your clocks, you think that you're really all on the same page in terms of perceiving time, but you are not. You're different vibrational beings in different sync with different degrees of non-physical energy. And it is to the degree that you are or are not connected to source energy that represents your true perspective of time. We are not even focused upon time. When people talk to us about time and how fast it is going, we say if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would disregard time altogether, and dollars too, because those two subjects are the thing you have most shortage consciousness about, which cause you to put most barricades up, which cause you to let less of the clarity in. But we would take time out of the equation altogether. We do take time out of the equation, but we would encourage you to do it too. This conversation has never happened before, ever, and to all of the universe. This conversation of who you are and what you know and your inner being and what you've been living, it's a unique and important conversation. And coupled with us, it has never happened before. And so the universe and consciousness and knowing has expanded in this segment as we've been visiting. So if we were focused with you, if we were focused as you're focused in your physical body, standing in your shoes, we would be focused upon the expansion, not the time in which the expansion is taking, the expansion itself. And as you take time out of the equation, you'll become less time shortage consciousness. And when you are less time shortage consciousness, you'll have more pleasure as your time passes.
So the way I'm feeling about time so quickly, though, I hear what you're saying about enjoying that in the expansion, but is that also an indication that I'm in the flow when all these things are coming to me?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm busier than ever, but I don't feel that it's all that difficult.
You're doing some of all of it. You're like so many, Esther too. You're in the flow and things are flowing, and then you're not in the flow and you're complaining about not having enough time. Stop doing that.
Okay.
I've been given some really wonderful gifts. I'm a really talented artist in a lot of different mediums, and I've been able to put a lot of projects together and got some really great awards for it. But I find that every time I embark upon a project now, that I don't feel good enough, or things just aren't flowing right, and I don't understand why, because it's all comes out of that creative vortex that when I'm in, just everything goes wonderfully, and I come up with these ideas, and they feel so powerful, and then there's no way for me to actually put them into fruition.
Well, we like the words that you just offered to us, because there are no people who come to understand this receptive mode more quickly or effectively than artists. Because you got to be there in order for what you're painting to turn out or what you're sculpting to turn out. You've already made that association with yourself, that it's not something that you can just be in any mood and it turn out right. You've got to tend to how you feel before you can write the beautiful music, or before you can write the beautiful letter or the beautiful book. In other words, artists understand what alignment is in that way. They understand the creative energy flow. And so we often say to them, as they have created many wonderful things, and more are in the vortex still to be realized by them, that we get it, how when they get that aspect of their life down, that then they can't figure out how to now market it or how to now make the project bigger. And yet it is exactly the same thing. But because their artistic ability seem to come so naturally to them, they don't stop to isolate or to understand how they got there. And so it's like this. You get there because you expect to be there. At this point in your life, that's just going to flow. You've done it enough that you don't have doubts about that happening. And so you're not remembering what those initial feelings of inspiration felt like. Are you following what we're getting at? And so you have to find some way of seeing that it's the same thing, that inspiration is inspiration, whether it's about where to have lunch or what color to use in your project, or whether it's about when to be where. In other words, you were describing some ideas of synchronicity that eventually led you to be right here. And you've got to acknowledge that there's another powerful synchronicity that helped us to find you way over there and get you way over here. Things are lining up. And so the best way to get more things to line up is to acknowledge and crow about and milk with everything you've got the things that you are seeing line up. The way to get more things line up than the things you've already got lining up is to acknowledge the things you've already got lining up. That really is the simple and expert answer.
Yes, they are. You do have expert answers. I like that.
Well, our job is easy because we've seen your vortex. We've seen your vortex, and we understand law of attraction, and we know how it plays out. And so the entire body of work that we have been doing through Esther, through all of these years, is to find some way to help you understand what the receptive mode is. But we can't give it to you. We can describe it to you, but you have to find it and acknowledge it, and then find it again and acknowledge it, and then find it again and acknowledge it until you are more chronically there. It's not hard to trust something that you just absolutely know. You never question whether you can accomplish something artistically. You know that as soon as the idea occurs to you, you can play it out all the way because you've had enough experience to know that. And we know that about everything that you want, everything that all of you want. We know that about everything that all of you want, but you don't know it because you haven't practiced knowing it yet in some cases.
What I'm finding, I think that my issue might run down to is a physical deal. I'm having mobility issues, and it's taking away a lot of my
Well, maybe.
the desire or the strength.
Maybe. But every conversation you have like this takes you out of the receptive mode.
Okay.
Period. Doesn't matter if it's true, doesn't matter if you're making it up, doesn't matter if it hurts, doesn't matter if it doesn't. None of it matters except that those conversations take you out of the receptive mode, and that matters. So you reach the place where nothing matters except that you be in the receptive mode. It's sort of like evaluating what matters more. And sometimes the complaint has momentum. There's a phrase in your physical environment that has been used for a long time: don't argue for your limitations. And that's what we're talking about. You cannot be in vibrational alignment with what you want and the absence of it at the same time. This is what it comes down to. You're really going to like this. This is a really good way to wrap this day up. What it comes down to is that so much has manifested. So there's so much stuff to observe, so many experiences, so many people, so much to observe. So if you're observing and your vibration is broadcast from you because of what you're observing, then nothing can ever go beyond what is. Because what is what you're observing, and so you just keep recreating what is because it's what you're observing. So what we've been talking about to you for so long, to all of you, is never mind what is, what's in the vortex. Because what's in the vortex is what will be what is. So then we discuss a bit about semantics, because most humans want what is to be what's already manifested. They say, Abraham, it's all right that you think that I've got a fortune in my vortex, but how do I get the money out of the vortex and into the bank? Because I don't want to call it what is until it's tangible. And so what is so interesting to so many of you that you give your attention to what is, not even realizing in many cases that your attention to what is, if it feels limiting, is preventing you from what really is in the process of becoming. That's why we were so happy to have this conversation with this woman who wanted $100,000 so that she could begin her vacational journey, to describe to her that you've already begun that journey, that so much is already underway, and that there's so much that's going to happen in the bringing of the whatever in order for it to bring the whatever. It's just an ongoing state of becoming. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would be using the example of our creative talent that you acknowledge as the basis or as the example of how it works. And then we would mimic it relative to this. What is it you're working on most recently? What is the creative project?
Working with glass.
So are you taking glass that already exists and putting it together, or are you making the glass?
Well, I'm working on something that's completely different, a new type of fusion of stained glass.
So, in the analogy that we've just offered to you about utilizing something that works, the example of something that's really been working for you, and then thinking in those terms about other things. And you began describing some limitations, some physical limitations. That would be like starting a project that you're already really good at, so there's no question in your mind how to go about that. And saying, well, I would really like this, but I'll just use that because I've got it. And what would really look good is this, but I'll just use Coke bottles instead. And I know that it would be fantastic if I brought these things together, but I'll just bring this together. Be like deliberately bringing unsatisfactory components together and expecting to get the result that's in your mind. You would never do that with your creative process. You are very picky. You are very precise about the way you go about it. The colors must harmonize, and the textures have to be just like you want them, and the science of the fusion has to be just right. And you would never be sloppy about gathering up your supplies to create this magnificent thing, would you? No. And yet, it's easy to be sloppy in thinking about it.